In the frozen ruins of a German castle, Soviet soldiers searched for something impossible to find. An entire room made of gold vanished without a trace. No ash, no wreckage, no proof it was ever destroyed. 70 years later, treasure hunters are still dying to find it. This is the story of the Amber Room, a masterpiece so valuable, so mysterious, it became one of history's greatest obsessions. Built from 6 tons of amber and gold leaf, it was called the 8th wonder of the world. Kings coveted it, armies stole it, and somewhere it disappeared forever. But before we uncover how it vanished, we have to understand why it was worth killing for. In 1701, in the Prussian court of Frederick I, artisans began an experiment no one had attempted before. They would build an entire chamber, not from marble or wood, but from amber, fossilized tree resin, prized more than gold. Master craftsman Andreas Schluter designed panels that would take years to perfect. Each piece of amber was hand-carved, backed with gold leaf, and fitted like a puzzle no one could replicate. The result glowed like liquid sunlight, shifting color with every flicker of candlelight. In 1716, Prussian King Friedrich Wilhelm I gave the finished chamber away as a diplomatic gift. The recipient was Tsar Peter the Great of Russia, sealing an alliance between 2 empires. The Amber Room began its journey to St. Petersburg, never to return to German soil as a gift again. Installed first in the Winter Palace, the room was later moved to the Catherine Palace at Tsarskoye Selo. Empress Elizabeth ordered it expanded, adding more amber panels until it covered over 55 square meters. Mirrors, gold carvings, and Florentine mosaics transformed it into a chamber fit for emperors. Visitors said it felt less like a room and more like standing inside a jewel. For 2 centuries, the Amber Room hosted czars, diplomats, and the elite of Russian society. It became a symbol of imperial wealth and eventually an irresistible target. Because in 1941, a new war was coming, and the Amber Room stood directly in its path. Adolf Hitler had already ordered his armies east, and his art thieves were right behind them. Operation Barbarossa tore across the Soviet border in June 1941, and Leningrad's treasures were suddenly at risk. Curators at the Catherine Palace tried to hide the Amber Room, papering over its panels to disguise them. It didn't work. German officers recognized the room immediately. Within 36 hours, Nazi soldiers dismantled the entire chamber, panel by panel. The amber panels were crated, loaded onto trucks, and shipped west, deep into Nazi territory. Their destination, Königsberg Castle, in what is now Kaliningrad, Russia. There, the Amber Room was reassembled and put on display once again, as a Nazi trophy. For nearly 2 years, it sat behind castle walls, waiting for the tide of war to turn. By 1943, the war had shifted. The Red Army was advancing, and Germany's grip on the East was slipping. The museum director in charge of the room, Alfred Rode, was ordered to prepare it for evacuation. But evacuation meant dismantling delicate 300-year-old amber panels, a fragile, dangerous task. Some accounts say the crates were packed and stored in the castle's cellars for safekeeping. Others say the order to move them never came in time. In August 1944, British bombers set fire to Königsberg, gutting much of the old city. The castle was damaged, but witnesses still reported seeing the amber panels afterward. The clock was running out, and the Amber Room's fate hung in the balance. In January 1945, the Red Army encircled Königsberg, cutting off any hope of a clean evacuation. Soviet forces stormed the city in April, reducing it to rubble, street by street. When the fighting ended, investigators rushed into the ruins of the castle, searching for the Amber Room. They found nothing. No panels, no crates, no trace of the 6 tons of amber that once filled the chamber. Alfred Rode, the last man known to have overseen the room, was questioned by Soviet officials. Weeks later, he died suddenly, officially of typhus, though many suspected poisoning to keep him silent. With Rode gone, the last living witness to the Amber Room's final days disappeared with him. The 8th wonder of the world had vanished as if it never existed. For decades, investigators chased every possible explanation. Some believed the panels burned in the castle fire, reduced to ash and melted gold. Others argued amber doesn't burn that easily, and pointed to a different theory entirely. Rumours spread that the crates were loaded onto a ship fleeing across the Baltic Sea. One theory tied the Amber Room to the sinking of a German vessel, lost with thousands aboard. Still others believe the panels were hidden in a mine shaft, sealed away and forgotten. Soviet and German investigators searched bunkers, cellars, and abandoned tunnels across Eastern Europe for decades. Each expedition ended the same way, with silence and no amber in sight. The mystery attracted more than historians. It attracted obsessives. Treasure hunters spent fortunes and years of their lives chasing rumours of the Amber Room's location. In 1987, a German soldier who claimed to know its hiding place died before he could reveal it. 2 treasure hunters searching a suspected bunker in the 1990s were killed when a tunnel collapsed on them. Others devoted entire careers to the search, funding expeditions with their own savings. Some believed a cursed fate followed anyone who got too close to the truth. Even Soviet intelligence agencies reportedly ran secret operations trying to recover it during the Cold War. Every lead ended the same way the last one did. Nowhere. By the late 20th century, most experts agreed on one uncomfortable possibility. The Amber Room might be gone forever. So Russia made a decision. If the original could not be found, it would be rebuilt from nothing. In 1979, Soviet craftsmen began the painstaking task of recreating the room using old photographs as their only guide. It took over 2 decades, tons of new amber, and immense skill to match the original's lost artistry. The project faced funding crises, material shortages, and the collapse of the Soviet Union itself. Yet the artisans continued, determined to restore what history had taken. In 2003, the reconstructed Amber Room was unveiled at the Catherine Palace, exactly where the original once stood. German companies funded part of the restoration, a quiet gesture of reconciliation, decades after the theft. Today, millions of visitors walk through the recreated chamber every year. It glows just as the original did, amber and gold catching the light exactly as it did 3 centuries ago. But it is a replica. Somewhere, the real panels may still exist, or may be gone forever. Metal detector enthusiasts and historians still search former Nazi bunkers across Kaliningrad and Poland. In recent years, new expeditions have used ground-penetrating radar to scan suspected hiding sites. Each new search reignites the same question that has haunted investigators since 1945. Was the Amber Room destroyed in a fire 70 years ago, Or is it still out there, waiting? No one has ever found a definitive answer.
What we do know is this. An object built to represent peace between two empires became a casualty of war. It survived tsars, revolutions, and 2 centuries of history, only to disappear in the final chaos of the Second World War. Its disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the history of art. Every theory has evidence, every lead has a dead end, and every searcher has walked away with nothing more but more questions. Perhaps the Amber Room burned to ash in a castle fire in 1944. Or perhaps, in a forgotten bunker somewhere in Eastern Europe, 6 tons of amber are still waiting in the dark.
If you were searching for it, where would you look first? Tell us your theory in the comments, and if you want to see the mystery that came before this one, the next story is waiting.